Okay. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry for the delay. My OBS had to update and everything looks different. Hold on. Oh, okay. This all looks very different. I don't know how to adjust the sizes on anything. Okay. All right. Let me just let people know that the stream is live. Don't want sound looping there. So it's funny. Let me let people know. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Took me a second to let people know that the stream was live. How? Is there a way for me to adjust? Because everything is like cropped weird in my... Everything is cropped weird. I'm hoping that my software works the way it's supposed to. Let me find out if Silva's coming tonight. It's always nice having someone to talk to. Oh, Silva, there you are. No, you won't. Hi, Silva. I totally wasn't in the middle of sending you a Facebook message. You're not here, you're there? Oh no, oh no. Well, OBS just updated, so like everything... I was expecting it to just be like a regular operating update, but like everything just looks different. And it looks much more like a modern piece of software, so it looks better. I just wish there was a way. You know what? As long as this connects properly, I think I'm just gonna call it. Hold on. Uh-oh. Hold on. Give me a second because okay, looks like Okay, looks like the stream is broadcasting properly on that. It just looks really weird on my OBS. After stream, I'm gonna be messing with settings in order to try to fix that. Fix my settings if there was some way. I just need to be able to. Could do it now. Let's see. That as low as it goes? Uh, nah, I'm not gonna mess with it now. Actually, before we even get started on this, let's just chat for a second. Let's chat. How are you doing, Silva, and anyone else who's in stream chat? Hey, Goldfish! Hey, Final Fantasy XIV trying to progress into the first expansion. Aren't you like super over leveled for that, Silva? Mm-hmm. On Dragoon, okay. Oh, so you're Dragoon as well? I remember, didn't Hat do Dragoon stuff? Oh, you did it first, Silva. You did it first? Okay. Sorry, I couldn't help it and I was fidgeting with my controls on the new updated OBS. Because I don't like... Oh. No, I've never reduced or tried to thicken soy sauce. Why? Is that what you did? You're thinking of doing it. Okay. Okay. So you're thinking of doing it. Sorry, I was fiddling with my settings again. It's not... None of the things are doing what I want them to do. So, I don't know what's causing it to do that. Anyway, why would you think of reducing or trying to thicken soy sauce? I know that if you mix soy sauce with brown sugar, you make dark soy sauce. How was your week, Goldfish? You do anything exciting? Oh, that's good. So you liked it? Okay, I'm glad that you liked it. Is that on, what's that on? Is that on HBO? Or is that on like Paramount? What streaming service has that new Lord of the Rings show? Amazon. Okay. You know, it's kind of funny because like sweet, not trying to think, turn to marinade. I shared into a sauce and drizzle of something. I might go with a reduced method. Oh. Trying to turn the marinade. You something fantasy to watch? Well, that's definitely something fantasy. Has anyone seen that new, what's it call it, House of the Dragon thing? I guess not. I heard never got hooked by Game of Thrones. So I think I've only ever watched like a single episode of Game of Thrones, but like for the last few seasons of Game of Thrones, I followed what was going on through. I would do this thing that was kind of fun where after an episode aired, there would be clips from the episode on YouTube, and I would try to watch all of the clips and then try to figure out what order the clips went in to figure out what happened on the show. It was just a fun little challenge I used to do for myself, and I got interested in where they were going, but like the whole thing with the final season of Game of Thrones is just kind of heartbreaking. Like, you know, I read somewhere that the writers for the original Game of Thrones told what was it, HBO that they were working for, that they could only do like 6 to 7 seasons, and HBO was like, no, don't worry, we'll figure something out, and wanted to squeeze 10 out of them. And like, I always support artists whenever they have to take time for themselves and move on to another project. Yeah, the last season was rough. People were just tired. Like, being a part of a long-running series is exhausting. Especially one where they have to like guard the plot and things. That's quite possible, Silva. That's quite possible. Was that supposed to segue into tonight's writing adventure? About having good writing habits? Yeah. So there was a script that got leaked a while back for the final season that like outlined every episode, and people don't know if it's an actual script or if it's a fan fiction or what it is, but like there are rumors that when the script got leaked they had to rewrite everything, and like so much of what HBO wanted, I think it was HBO, was for things to be an event where watching the episode was a big deal, where nobody knew what was going to happen. And I think that kind of event-based storytelling, where like you want the act of watching it to be a social event, like a cultural event, not a social, but a cultural event, can be like, it can be exciting, but can also be really toxic to maintain, and it can be very stressful for all people involved. Like when you talk about other cultural event type movies, like all the Marvel movies, like the big ones like Infinity War and Endgame, where they had to be super secretive with who they gave information for fear of somebody accidentally leaking the plot. And I've like, some people have talked about how like actors would come in, they would record lines in front of a green screen, but that nobody else would be on set with them, so they'd have no clue how their lines fit into the larger narrative. And I'm like, that's just, I mean, does it lead to an exciting moment? Yes, but the question is it worth it for the stress it puts on the performers, the production team, and everybody else? You know. That's what I feel, not worth the sacrifice. That's definitely something I can agree with. Oh, on George. So I was asking if that was your way to segue into tonight's writing segment, because like a lot of my content recently has been about building healthy writing habits to write consistently and to put in consistent time and effort on your writing. So when you made that thing about how, you know, things would have gone better. Hey Nekomaji, how are you doing? How was your week? Sorry we got such a late start, everybody. So It's actually really funny. So I booted up my booted up VMagic Mirror, which is the software I use for controlling my avatar. Oh well, I'm glad you dropped by, Nekomaji. And when I booted up VMagic Mirror, it said there's an update. Do you want to do the update? And past VMagic Mirrors haven't given me automatic updates. So that was a nice feature, but I'm like, oh, I'm getting ready to stream. I don't want to boot that up. And then I went to boot up OBS. And OBS said, hey, we have an update. And I'm like, oh, okay. This might be important, because I knew that there was a big update for OBS, and I didn't want shorter amount of time than he does. Yeah. I didn't want to miss the update, because sometimes OBS can act funky if you skip doing the update. But then when I did the update, the entire layout and look of OBS just looks completely different. So I'm gonna have to get used to and adjust all of the controls and where things are. Thankfully, all my scenes came through. So since all my scenes came through, what did you say, Silva, what did you say that the automatic, I don't understand. Oh, because you said plot. The automatic moderator feature bleeped you out. So you see your comment, Silva, appears on screen, but if you look, actually, I'm not sure if you'd even see it, but for everyone else, when we look at the actual chat for the stream, your first long comment, you can see it, but no one else can. No one else can see it. The automatic moderator stops it from getting posted. Well, it's funny because for whatever reason, even though before the automatic moderator can catch it, my chat bot that displays chat, or my plugin that displays chat on screen catches it before the automatic moderator does, which is hilarious. You gotta remember, this is a family-friendly stream. I was able to read it because I read it on screen. It didn't, like, your thing about shorter amount of time was all that I saw at first, and didn't make sense. And then I looked at the screen and I was like, wait a second, there's way more to this. Yeah, I was actually struggling with that. I'll go over that whenever we get to the actual writing part of the stream today. I was struggling. Yes, it comes with dark fantasy. I was struggling with what would my characters, how would my characters be talking? These are literally air sailors, right? So they're gonna have colorful language. So that's one thing I might do tonight. I'm not sure if we're gonna be adding too much more additional stuff to the story, or if we're gonna be going back and padding out and really refining what I've typed so far, because I think that there might be some interesting stuff that needs to get smoothed out. But I also have to recognize that this is a first draft. Because it's a first draft, it oh, there's a SpongeBob episode about it. Okay. Good quality books every few months. Rick Jordan shelled out 21 books in the span of 15 years. There's only 3 of them I didn't care for. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things, I don't want to just write Song of Fire and Ice. I want to do other things as part of my process. Yeah. I've heard one fan theory about George that like, so this, I saw a fan theory that, his original book for whatever this last book in Song of Fire and Ice or Ice and Fire, whatever, series, very closely followed what happened, I almost said in the anime, what happened in the show, and that when people expressed so much revulsion for what happened in the show, he had to go back and rewrite the book from scratch. That's just a fan theory I heard. But also, the fact is, once you get to be a big name writer like that, there's a lot of pressure to make sure that what you release is peak content, because as soon as, like, no one wants to release a book that's worse than their last, even one that's as good as their last. You always want to be improving when you're at that level. So like, I'm not going to fault the man for wanting to make sure that whatever he made the decision that for his brand and for his stuff, it is better to not release the book than to release a mediocre book, or to release a book that didn't suit his standards. 11 years is a long time though, so exactly. It's kind of like what was it, Cyberpunk 2077. That game was hyped up for like wasn't it like over a decade after it was like between when it was announced and when it was actually released, and like there was never a chance that Cyberpunk was going to live up to there was never a chance that it was ever going to live up to the hype that it set for itself. It was always doomed to fail. Oh, really? Remind you of some animes on Nekomaji? Is that kind of like, I've heard I've heard like I've heard like the whole, what is it, Attack on Titan thing, has it been living up to people's expectations? Oh, you have heard things about the Cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game? When a friend writes it just to get you to watch it, so when you do it becomes a disappointment. Is it? That's also true. Oh, you've been working on both. Okay. Having a show is almost as bad as giving spoilers. That's definitely a take. I don't know if I fully agree with that take, but that's definitely a take. I've also recently been shopping around for a webcam because since I'm not going to be using a laptop anymore once I get my new computer, I'm going to need a webcam if I want to keep having camera controlled avatar. But like, I use VMagic Mirror as my primary software, so I could just control it with my mouse, but I've honestly just gotten used to having a camera, so like if I can afford it, I'll get a camera. It's on my list. But because I live on fixed income, I'm probably just gonna have to wait till next month's money coming in. Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing. Um, yeah, it is. It can be really hard to save Nekomaji. Um, honestly, Silva, with the computer getting built, I'm honestly debating just not activating my copy of Windows. Like, the only thing you lose out on by not activating your copy of Windows is you can't change your desktop wallpaper, and there is always a watermark on your screen. And so for me, as long as that watermark doesn't translate to my stream, as long as my stream doesn't have that watermark, everything, like, those are the only two things you don't lose. Those are the only two things. I think it still gets all the same updates. Like I've done some research on that. I'll probably do more research leading up to it, but there are definitely markets where you can get some of the promotional. So there's this weird quasi black market for activation codes for Windows things that's like pseudo. It's in this weird gray space of legality. Because every year Windows hands out bucket loads of activation codes to different businesses, and then if they don't use those activation codes, those businesses can sell those activation codes on the black market. And it's not really a black market, more of a gray market. And it's like, it's really weird because Windows has acknowledged that this happens and has done things to make it easier to use those activation codes, and has made the activation process for those codes smoother. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. I might have to spend a little bit extra just to get one that I can activate entirely online. Um, but for the computer I'm having built, it also, according to everything I found out, like the the motherboard is Windows 11 compliant, the CPU is Windows 11 compliant. So as far as I know, I might have to download some BIOS updates. But after I get Windows 10, I should be able to upgrade it from 10 to 11. It's this weird gray area. But I have to balance what I want versus what I have to work with, you know? Anyway, I think I fixed most of my setup for visually being able to keep track of what's going on. So let's switch over the writing page. Yay, it works. Okay. I just had to remove some of the windows, which I didn't have to do before, but all right. Anyway, me get my current total is 7308. Ugh. All right, so let me go over what I've written since last stream. I don't think I as of last stream I'd even started chapter 3. So chapter 3 is titled The Pirate. And whereas chapters 1 and 2 followed Hazel, right? And like the primary character, the main character was Hazel, and you followed Hazel and what Hazel was going through. For chapter 3, we took a completely different thing, where chapter 3 is technically about Grief Stormblood, the pirate, but instead of following Grief Stormblood, it instead follows her next victim. It follows the ship that she's going to beset upon next and introduces Grief from how the rest of the world sees her. And instead of following her, we're following this ship that hasn't landed. It's a large ship that's carrying a massive shipment of Miraculum. That is the Miracle Grow, their special fertilizer that allows their plants to grow at extremely rapid rates. Yeah, definitely goldfish. So and it starts with this ship going, and then there's some kind of like mention of what I went with for their version of Wi-Fi or wireless communication was something I called the pheromonal network. That it's just a network of plant pheromones that's used to transmit data wirelessly. So some kind of Wi-Fi radio waves all rolled into one. Which I'm not sure if I actually made a mention of that. Did I make a mention of that in my notes? Scroll up here. No, I didn't. I'm gonna do that. Let me make a note of that before I forget it. wirelessly. Okay, there. I made a note about that in my notes so that way I don't forget that I came up with that. So this ship, their comms officer Ash, uh, has received the news about the end of the world, and nobody believes Ash. So the captain's just like, that's something silly. I'm sure there's some kind of prank going on. And saying that they'll check the paper when they reach port, and then their ship gets hit by a seed bullet. And I had to make sure not to call it a bullet seed because that's a Pokemon attack. And the seed bullet pierces through their engine. And this was another thing I did. Before, I'd been calling the stuff that was driving the propellers motors, but I did a little bit more research, and I think that I want to call them engines. I think calling them engines is a better fit for what they're doing and the role they're fulfilling on the ship. The term engine and motor are like not interchangeable, but they do get used a lot, and I think engine just fits better. Yes, something like that, Goldfish. So their engine gets hit, and when their engine gets hit, they start leaking fuel, and they can't maintain fuel pressure, and they're trying to fill the ballast and lose altitude to find somewhere to land to get away from this attacker, but they're very rapid, but their forward momentum is slowing down, and they're relying entirely on wind power since they don't have their propellers. And the crew are ready to fight for the captain, and the captain says distribute weapons. And this was another thing where I was able to use the distribution of weapons as a way to explain some of the weapon technology in a kind of natural way, where I had one of the people distributing weapons giving a quick lecture about the weapons to a cabin boy in order to make sure he knew how to fire his gun. And that's kind of where I left off of, like, this stuff being explained. So this part is a part that's kind of important. The pistol's made of 3 different plants, one forming the barrel, one forming the firing mechanism, and the third forming the frame holding it all together. Each plant was a different color, leading to a mishmash of browns and yellows. Which, that's a very much a rough draft way to describe that. I think I'm going to have to flesh that out at some point in the future. Must set weapons to maximum. Yes, must set weapons to maximum. I've already had the captain barking out a little bit of jargon in order to, like, get the crew moving. The first mate, like, there was one scene in this where the first mate pulls aside. Did I call it first mate or first officer? Yeah, I called it first mate. It probably should be called first officer. I'm not sure. Flower gun maximum drive. Yes. So the first mate talks privately with the captain and says, you know, there's no way we have enough weapons in order to arm the entire crew. We have 8 cannons, 4 on each side. We are nowhere near prepared to fight a battle against pirates and to deal with boarders. This is the pirate, you know, they could tell from seeing the pirate ship. And also, oh, here was a really cool thing that I thought of, right? So I wanted to describe what Grief Stormblood's ship looked like. So I said that her ship was this stark white, so it could blend into the clouds. So it could camouflage itself amongst the clouds. A ship that can be there 1 second and then gone the next. So I've been trying to make sure that like my exposition fits for the characters. But yeah, and then also knowing that what's evil, Silva? Tell me, what is evil? What is the definition of evil? Well, the prologue officially released. The prologue for Witch from Mercury, was released for Eastern audiences months ago. That was released multiple months ago. The only thing that happened was there was an official worldwide release. Okay, so now comes the hard part where I have to describe an air naval battle in a way that is compelling and entertaining to read. One of the ships, the engine, so the ship, two of its propellers began to spin, so it's going to be trying to run away. Okay, I've got my little reference picture saying which side is starboard, which side is port. Okay. I guess there's nothing left to do but to do it. Okay, let's do it. Fleshed out, you just give basic overviews of cannons firing. Sometimes we see flashes of people panicking, preparing inside ships. That's also true, Nekomaji. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're gonna open with talking about we're gonna have one of the sailors expressing that there aren't enough weapons for the entire crew, so they armed just the deck crew and a few of the men below deck, because I want this to lean into this idea that this desperation where the ship is just it's not well armed, it's not well armored, and they're taking on a very superior foe, because I want to build up the pirate. I want to build up Grief Stormblood as this menacing, threatening force of nature. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm back. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's get back to what we were doing. I wanna lean into this desperation. So I'm just having one of the cabin boys yell this to the captain. Okay. Okay. What did I call them? Did I call them the Air Guard? Gotta see if I call them the Air Guard or the Sky Guard. Air Guard. Okay, local Air Guard. I want them to pass on the right side, so I have a reference image here. Right side is going to be starboard side. How do I pronounce? How do I spell this? Starboard. Okay. Actually, I don't like this. I don't like how this goes. I'm gonna rewrite this. Starboard. Okay. I said this before, so I don't want to say it again because I don't want to say this again. All right, so the captain's already ordered him to get word out to the local air guard. Okay. shape. Bunch of their seed bullets. So I'm imagining Grief Stormblood ship being like slightly larger and having having 8 cannons on each side, whereas this ship that we're following here has 4 cannons on each side. Okay. No, I'm not liking that part. Okay. Let's think about this. I want to describe this. Mm, okay. Mm, You know what? You know what? Let's... I'm having trouble writing this naval battle. Let's take a look. Let's do a little bit of research. Okay, hold on. Whoops. That wasn't kosher. Okay. Alright, so now let's do a little bit of research. Alright, naval warfare. Okay. Age of Sail. Age of Sail is what I want because... Age of Fighting Sail. Okay, cool. Sentry guns are rated alongside for a decisive weapon. Heavy guns required a gun deck and a short, sturdy hull, which were at odds with the galley's requirements of lightness and length. The shift to sail was a victory for fighting strength over maneuver. Tactically, sailing navies became victims of the wind's whim, but strategically, they benefited from nearly limitless range and compared to the frail galleys, greatly improved seakeeping. Logical tactical formation from bringing most guns to bear with all the ships of a battle line following one another and their guns. Face the enemy line without obstruction. Okay. So they would form a firing line just like they would on land. Okay. Okay, breaking the line. See, this is all about fleet combat, but this isn't talking about what the pirate combat did. Was one aim. This broke the enemy. Okay. Ooh, I like this. So vertically stacking gun decks was a thing. Okay. Three deck ship. Okay. So melee combat seems a little hard, being less blow for blow, more about the beats of combat. Does the captain have brown pants? Why does it matter that the captain has brown pants? Not guns. Six cannons or so is the minimum that pirates like to have. Usually changed up rigging of ship stars so it could sail faster. Cargo spaces were converted to living or sleeping quarters, as pirate ships usually had more men and less cargo on board than a merchant vessel. 10 cannons. Okay. At least 10. Wow, Blackbeards, they had as many as 40 cannons on board, which should have been 20 on each side. Okay. "40 heavy cannons below decks. Additionally, smaller cannons were mounted on swivel posts at various points along the top of the deck." Ooh. Ooh, that's a good one. What? Okay, I'm curious about the joke, Nekomaji. That is the Queen Anne's Revenge, yes. So I want to describe this. I want to describe Grief Stormblood ship as this ultimate pirate ship, this literal force of nature. So saying that the ship has 40 guns, 40 cannons on board. Okay. Okay, Nekomaji, that's actually funny. That's funny. Like, it starts out being noble and grand, and then it just gets funny. Okay, looking at some of these pictures. Like, look at all those cannon ports. 2 rows of 10 on each side. Okay. Alright. So saying it they have 8 is that's too low. That's too small. That's too puny. Alright, so saying 8 just wasn't enough. That made it way too close. Hmm. I'm just making a note of this so that way I keep track of it. Okay, so okay, so it's 2 decks of 10 on each side. So this is like a full so this would should shred the ship. But any kind of merchant ship only carrying 8 cannons. Well, it's larger than Hazel ship because Hazel ship is a small transport. But it is not much larger if it's only got 4 cannons on each side. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Hmm. So now I've come to an interesting question, right? We've had everybody talking in this kind of like almost proper English, very much American English, because that's how I talk. And now the question I'm running into is, do I have the pirates talk differently? Like, do I have them say, "Arr, matey, never me chumbers," right? Do I just lean into the cheesiness? Yeah. Writing accents can be wonky. Walking the plant. Yes, walking the plant. I love it. That could be interesting. Yes, actually. Little things like come here, come here. Yeah, that could work as well. Yeah, I've actually been very interested in hardtack because I'm very interested in food preservation, and um, that is a way to preserve food for long periods of time. You know what? That's a great source of. I hadn't even thought about Pippi Longstocking for a source of pirate knowledge. I like that line. Could he sacrifice his own men? Could he sacrifice his men at the altar of his own righteous fury? Hmm. it just occurred to me that like you can't say like because metal clanks when it hits itself, hits against other pieces of metal. There's this clanging of metal and sparks flying everywhere, right? But everybody's using sabers made of reinforced wood, of hardened wood. So there's gonna be thud. There's gonna be like donk, 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 donk. Yeah. Um. Except maybe not because aren't kendo sticks like hollow inside? These would be like very solid. So I don't know if it would make the same kind of noise. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think a better comparison would be like a boken. That's the name of a wooden training sword, right? Yeah. It would be like two people fighting with bokens. Except instead of just doing a training fight, like actually swinging full force. So imagine bokens, but even harder and sharpened to a razor's edge. I think it's pretty cool. Mm. Hmm. So now I'm having Grief Stormblood crossing over, right? actually. As the crews fought, a woman strode across the plank to the ship. She walked past the fighting people, deftly avoiding any who tried to attack her, her white coat unblemished by any dirt or even sweat. Hmm. So I'm saying all over, she's got this long coat and she's wearing this clothing that's all white. And her hair is black as night. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So I wrote the original outline and now I'm actually going back and writing the story and I'm kind of dividing the chapters as I see fit. I might have a stream where instead of writing, I just outline what I want for the chapters. I might do that for a stream. Just like outline some idea of what I want each chapter to be about and how I want them to connect. I might do that on Monday. I don't know. Because this kind of like wandering from one chapter to the next feels kind of weird. Yeah, I can see that, Goldfish. How much have I written today? We got 663 words out today. That came out pretty well. Yeah, I might do an outline. Because for everything else, I was kind of just making the chapters as I went, as they made sense. Like I had this general like outline of how I wanted the story to unfold. But actually getting there has been an interesting challenge. Let's see. So far, chapter 3 is at 1,700 words. 1,711. Yeah, something like that. So let's add this up. How many words have we got so far? So the reason why I have to do it like this and I can't just take the word count of the whole document is because there's no way for me to put the chapter names in the header and not have it count those when I do the word count. So the chapter names would get counted whenever I do the word count, and that's just more stuff. So I just am counting them one chapter at a time. So we've got 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 6 is 10. Plus 1 is 2. 10, 17, so 7, carry the 1. 14, 15, 9. You think so, Goldfish? 5. So we're at 7,970 words. I didn't get to do as much of the show don't tell that as I would have liked. I used that a little bit. I found some interesting guides for show don't tell and how to do that with writing. I posted them in the Discord. That is part of the creative process. One thing I'm going to have to do is also reserve the right to change up the outline as I see fit as I go along, because as I'm writing, I might come up with something or go in a different direction than my original outline, and I have to be okay with being flexible and adjusting, you know? Yeah. Because I want this story to be detailed, and I want there to be this like growing tension between the two leads, between Grief Stormblood and Hazel. Adelia? Yeah, I think that was Adelia was the last name. I should remember my main character's last name. I really should. But hey, we got over 600 words down today, which is more than the 200 I was shooting for. Let's wind down a little bit. What's the first he? What's the first he, Nekomaji? Or were you responding to something I said? Oh, don't forget if I forget. Don't worry if I forget a last name. Just, I should remember the first name because that's the one that people are gonna get attached to. Yeah, most definitely. I don't think I could ever be like Oda Sensei. I don't think I have the mental fortitude to write a story that long. Well, okay, he's writing a story that has spanned for so long with no reboots, no no restarts, no breaks in the story. It's just been one continuous story. Yeah, there are different arcs involved, but it's the same characters. Like that's a lot of stuff to keep track of. That really is a lot of stuff to keep track of. Yeah, or didn't Toriyama forget about launch? Like someone was like, or lunch was like, why was launch not in DBZ? And he was like, who? Launch? Yeah. Yes, Saiyans being born with tails. Well, Dragon Ball Z is this really interesting story in how like it all grew from. That's a rough one, Silva. Like when you think about Dragon Ball, oh, you dislike this? You dislike the DBZ universe? Like when you think about it, Dragon Ball just started as this great like piece in reference to Journey to the West, wasn't it? Yeah. It was this weird form of Journey to the West, and then Dragon Ball Z grew out of it into, well, Dragon Ball, only in the West do we call it Dragon Ball Z to try to separate it from the original Dragon Ball. But it went this whole different direction. And it just became its own thing. Z is fighting, no risk, because the balls can just revive everyone and be endlessly used since GTU was so hated. Yes, that's true, Goldfish. You really discovered sci-fi with Z. I don't know. I didn't watch GT. Like, it had a very different feel. I saw bits and pieces of it. Like, yeah, we all got hype with Super Saiyan 4 and that whole arc with Omega Shenron. But like in the beginning, it just felt really slow, didn't it? I see Goldfish. Definitely. Yeah, execution's definitely important with a show like that. Good days of Dragon Ball, but missed the mark. Ah, I see Goldfish. They tried to hit the mark, but they just missed. Oh, what'd they do to Vegeta's haircut? Did they do something weird with it in GT? Didn't they give him a mustache or something? Yeah, after Bulma invented the dragon radar and they could all fly at like close to the speed of sound, it just became about flying around till you found the wherever the Dragon Ball landed, and then after you make the wish, um, hmm, but they're like, so they tried to introduce that limitation that like a person could only be wished back by the Earth Dragon Balls once. But then it was like, I see Nekomachi. Like in Z, they said that did he change it? I remember that was part of their original quest to go to Namek because they wanted to use the Namekian Dragon Balls because they couldn't use the Earth Dragon Balls to wish people back. Oh, so he actually modified the dragon. Oh, in the Cell Saga. That's kind of dumb because that was like the biggest limitation. Also, there was this whole thing where like Goku couldn't come back. Yeah, that's what Silva was talking about. Like, yeah, and then oh, really? But I do wish, like, that was one thing I liked about GT, was introducing an actual cost. Introducing an actual cost to using the Dragon Balls, that if they're abused repeatedly. Ah, okay, Nekomachi. I had that wrong. It's been a long time. Which, That's interesting having it being tied to someone's lifetime. How was the new movie, Silva? Really good. Yeah. I heard something about that, about like there was some memes about how Piccolo threw Pan into some extreme danger in order to try to awaken her power or something. Like there was a lot of memes about how now no one can say Piccolo was a better father than Goku because of how Piccolo treated Pan or something in the latest movie. Something like that. That's also a true Nekomaji. I remember in the Brawly movie wasn't like part of Frieza's desire to get the balls to slowly use the balls to wish for like it'd be an inch taller and then an inch taller and then an inch taller. Or was that in the abridged series? I can't remember. Was that the abridged thing or was that the actual canon reason? No, that was canon? Okay. It's so random that it feels like it feels like it shouldn't be canon. Right, and didn't Frieza want to keep tracking down the Dragon Balls to keep wishing? Yeah, to keep looking younger. That is kind of hilarious. What's the best part, Silva? Tell me, what's the best part? Okay, one of the best parts. Tell me. That's kind of what it broke down into. Nekomaji. Oh, well, I mean, didn't Piccolo or Kami create the Dragon Balls? Yes and no. It's some weird thing like that. But then why'd they disappear when Kami died? Do you pass on the connection from one person to another? And Piccolo pass on the connection to another one? Okay. So if Kami / Piccolo didn't create... Okay, Silva. Well, I'm actually just getting ready to end right now. They turned to stone. Okay. So, the original balls themselves predate Kami, but Kami did create the latest dragon statue. Oh, Dende. Dende's the one who did it. Okay. I see. But the actual stone that was hewn into the Dragon Balls was done ages ago. Mr. Popo is something else. Mr. Popo is definitely something else. Yeah, I get it, Nekomaji. The Abridged series did a lot of things right. I think, like, there have been some really good Abridged series over the years that have done a lot of really great stuff and brought us some really great lines. Oh, you're back, Silva. SAO Abridged is legendary. Like, they put so much time and effort into SAO Abridged. It is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. Have you seen any of the new episodes of SAO Abridged, Silva? Because they've had some new ones over the last, like, year or two. Yeah, you've seen the new ones? Okay. Yes, Silva. Is that voice? So is that? Are you saying it's the voice actor for SAO Kirito or SAO Abridged is in Fate Abridged? Or are you saying the actual voice actor for Kirito is Shiro? Okay. Anyway, it's getting around that time. You've been going for a while, and it's been fun. We got over 600 words written today. I was trying to be more expressive in my wording and more descriptive, and I think it came through a little bit more in what I was writing. A bridge character is a bridge fate of them. Okay. I think my writing improved a bit. If you want to see those guides that I found about show not telling, okay, Silva. If you want to see those guides I found about show not telling, I put links to them in the writer's corner of the Discord, so you can take a look at that. But Rin is the best. Okay, Nekomashi. But I want to say to each of you that I love each and every one of you, and I believe in you. I think that you all are wonderful, valuable, and important. And I want you each to know that you make the world better just by being in it, and I'm glad that you are here. Always, always, always remember the motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always, always, always stop to enjoy the memes. If you ever want to keep up with what I'm doing, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ding the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I go live or post any new content. There's a link to my Discord and to my Twitter in the description. Follow those if you want to keep up with me on a day-to-day. And if you ever feel motivated to give to improve the stream or improve my life, there are links where you can do that in the description as well. Have yourselves a wonderful night, and thank you all for coming. Thank you, Goldfish. Thank you, Silva. Thank you, Nekomaji. Thank you, anyone else who was here tonight, and anyone who watches the VOD. I want you all to know that you are amazing.